Like a lot of teams this summer, the Kentucky Wildcats traveled all the way to the Bahamas to get an early look at this upcoming season. And what they have found after 3 games is a mix of old and new that may be the team to beat in college basketball. Today, we'll get another look at this talented team on the first live broadcast on the new SEC Network. Say that we are quite lucky to be in the Bahamas. Another gorgeous day here in Nassau as the Big Blue Bahamas tour rolls on. The Dominican Republic and the Kentucky Wildcats. It'll be game number 4 for the Cats, game number 3 for the Dominican Republic. They will square off for the first time down here at the Kendall Isaacs National Gymnasium. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. This is Jay Billis. So glad you could join us. The SEC Network, not even 24 hours old, but yet they're letting us appear on camera. Shocking the way the world works today. It is a pleasure, and it's really a treat to be a part of the first ever live broadcast, Jay, and especially special when you consider we got the Kentucky Wildcats on hand.
And you're seeing a team that is not only deep and talented, as you mentioned, but how about this? A Kentucky team under John Calipari that has a ton of experience and over 50% of its scoring back from last year. It's really a remarkable group.
Let's talk about this team in particular with Alex Poythress, a guy that really has shined in your eyes so far.
Well, talking about experience, Poythress is now a junior and has shown it. He is playing the way now you expected him to play, perhaps a little bit earlier, but he's had the natural progression for a great college player. And in this tournament, averaging 14 points a game, 8 rebounds, shooting close to 70% from the field. He's been magnificent.
Well, take a look at our starting lineups, and Kentucky, the same group they've rolled out for the 4th time. But Dominican Republic, you will recognize some of those names.
Edgar Sosa and Francisco Garcia both played at Louisville. Garcia, an NBA veteran. Eloy Vargas, who played at Kentucky, is certainly a familiar name to Kentucky fans.
Well, Dominican Republic played yesterday and had a rousing victory against the Puerto Rican national team. They won by 34. They lost their opener to Shalon Reams on Wednesday night. Didn't have their whole team in place, but yesterday really played well. Talked to Orlando Antigua, the head coach of the Dominican team. And there's an example of what they did yesterday as Veldine gets the first basket.
Veldine played at Quinnipiac University, and this Dominican Republic team is a lot stronger and a lot more athletic than the 2 teams that Kentucky has played thus far in this tournament. They're just not as big as Kentucky.
This Kentucky team starts with the lineup they've been using with the Harrison twins, Booker, Poythress, and Dakari Johnson, and the Cats are on the board.
Boy, Dave, that's a really good move by Dakari Johnson, who has slimmed down. He's much more mobile this season, done a better job of running the floor. But when he gets the ball in the low post, to show that kind of patience is a terrific improvement.
Veldine. Little jump shot from the free throw line, off the mark from Eloy Vargas, a former Kentucky Wildcat. The putback able to go down.
It looked like Alex Poythress was going to get that rebound, but he didn't really go after it with the same vigor that he's been going after rebounds in the first 3 games.
So Sosa's on the board with his first basket. Here is Johnson using his strength, spins, and they will say a foul on the floor before the shot. As you look at the Dominican Republic roster, you see some of the connections to the NCAA college game. FIU, Louisville, Pittsburgh, St. John's, Albany. There's Vargas from Kentucky.
Now, Ronald Ramon had a great career at Pittsburgh. Suero played at Albany, but he was a high-level recruit that had some eligibility issues that stemmed largely from some difficulties he had with picking up the English language. But he averaged over 21 points a game at Albany. But he was a much higher level player than going to Albany would suggest to some fans. Kentucky spreading the floor out a little bit, going with that high ball screen. When they've set some ball screens, they've gotten some good things out of it.
Out of the corner, no good from Andrew Harrison, but rebound by Johnson, working on Vargas, and that'll go. He goes with the left hand.
Well, Dave, you can play 30 seconds of really good defense against Kentucky and force them into a less than desirable shot, which that corner jumper was. But you got to get that second shot taken care of, and that's the really difficult thing to do against Kentucky, is clean up the offensive glass.
Vargas active underneath. He gets the basket. Back the other way we come. Now Vargas with the block shot. And a little bump foul will go against Aaron Harrison. But Vargas working hard. You know, there's a little bit of extra effort in his performance today facing his old club.
Well, especially when he was at Kentucky, didn't play very much because he was behind Anthony Davis, averaged less than 2 points a game. But you can not play much at Kentucky and still be a heck of a player.
Pull-up jumper, no good off the hands of Sosa. Booker, Harrison. Alley-oop, layup is good by Poitras.
That was all made by the outlet pass by Dakari Johnson. And Dave, they have been outletting like crazy and passing ahead. So you've got to get back after you miss a shot if you want to keep them from getting easy baskets.
Vargas again a little bit short this time off the window.
A nice job by Andrew Harrison to guard Vargas in the post.
It'll belong to Kentucky.
That quick outlet pass, and look at Dakari Johnson run. To have him get down the floor really puts a lot of pressure on opposing big guys.
Garcia with the block. Off to the right. Feldine kicks it back to Sosa.
Nice pass. A good fake.
That's a two-pointer.
Just that little look away by Sosa. Garcia in the corner set himself up for that shot.
And the layup goes down. But we have seen a lot of layups by Alex Poitras.
Well, we've seen a lot of action. The intensity of this game has been much higher than the intensity level of the other games by the opponent. And Kentucky has looked sluggish is the wrong word, but they've had 2 days off with some fun in the sun. So you can understand if they wouldn't have come out with quite the level of intensity as they did the first 3 games. But they're also playing a much better opponent. The Dominican Republic national team is much better than the first 2 teams that Kentucky's played here in the Bahamas.
You know, we talked about Vargas playing behind Davis. You know, the other guy that kind of affected how he played was Josh Harrelson. Came out of nowhere his last season and really pushed Vargas even further down the depth chart because of the growth of Josh. In the Final Four, Eloy had a pretty good game. There was some foul trouble by Kentucky's big man. He had to step up against UConn and played some good quality minutes.
Now going to the scorers table, 5 new subs for Kentucky in that platoon system. That puts a lot of pressure on the opponent, but you get a fresh group of bodies in.
Jumper goes down from Andrew Harrison. 10-9 Kentucky lead.
Good job by Devin Booker to set his feet to ice that ball screen, keep it on one side.
Vargas. Baez no good. There's Vargas again. Boy, has he been everywhere. The follow won't go. Booker the rebound.
Kentucky very fortunate not to give up a bucket there.
Dakari Johnson with a throwdown.
Wait, Dave, you have to be impressed with how Dakari Johnson is running the floor. Not just in this game, but throughout this tour in the Bahamas that Kentucky has taken. He has really done a good job of changing ends, which was not his strength last year.
Oh, right through the hands of Vargas. Off to Poitras. Foul and count.
This team can just keep the pressure on you. Going to the basket, in transition, passing the ball, and scoring at the rim. They keep coming at you.
Back on the SEC Network. Big Blue Bahamas tour from Nassau. Kentucky leading the Dominican Republic national team by 5 here in the first half from the Isaacs Gymnasium. And it has been a busy week for Coach Cal. Not only has he had to coach his club, but there have been a lot of other endeavors. He's been a fan a little bit, cheering on his club from up high. He even ran the camera. Wonder if he got day rate like the rest of the crew. Probably doesn't need it. And he's also been a visitor right here courtside with us, and then helped open up and launch the SEC Network last night. And what was a memorable Time for the Southeastern Conference. Here he is again with Tony Barbie, the former Auburn coach, now director, I guess assistant to the head coach, if you will. How do you get that job?
It's a good job.
Yes, it is.
Any sort of assistant to John Calipari with the talent level he's got. But I thought it was interesting when he came over and joined us during the broadcast that most of our crew referred to that as color analysis, putting my job at risk. They didn't say it was play-by-play, putting yours at risk. And I thought that was wholly inappropriate on the part of our crew.
I feel like I'm at risk every day, though. See, you're just at risk for that one moment. 5-point lead by the Cats. We have seen the intensity level here in the first 5 minutes and 11 seconds really amped up by comparison. This is the Dominicans' A team, if you will. They're minus one player. This is a group that will, after this trip, head to New York and face Team USA in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, on the 20th. And that's the USA senior national team that will be in Spain playing in the FIBA World Cup of Basketball, formerly known as the World Championships.
So wholesale changes for Kentucky. Marcus Lee's on the floor. The freshman Ewis on the floor. Willis. Here is Dominic Hawkins with the basketball. Also getting some time is Carl Towns, who will be with this Dominican team when they take on Team USA on the 20th. Up ahead, Feldine hacked across the arm, and he will step to the free throw line, count the basket. And it looks like Tyler Ulis may have twisted an ankle in the process.
Well, this Dominican team has been much more active defensively. They do a great job of staying in front. They've been switching and really did a nice job, I think, of going after the ball. That they're active with their hands. And if you show the ball, they will knock it away, take it away.
It's almost, you could say, this Dominican club's running a four-guard lineup right now. Vargas down in the paint.
Edgar Sosa doing a really nice job of keeping the ball away from Tyler Ulis.
Here's Towns, the freshman out of Piscataway, New Jersey.
And this is the unit, Dave, that's been coming in and putting on full court pressure, with Marcus Lee putting pressure on the ball in the backcourt. And even an experienced team like the Dominican Republic winds up turning it over. So really good pass here by Lee, and excellent fake. Carl Towns has got a lot of poise in the post. Excellent passer, very skilled player.
Kentucky gives it right back.
He turned that over, but he should have gone straight up with that ball. That's one where you score, get fouled, or both.
Lee holding Vargas as he rolls to the basket. The Dominican club will inbound the basketball. They lost their opening game to Chalon Reims out of France. A couple of their players just kind of rolled into town right before tip-off, not in sync, and then put on a great display yesterday against the Puerto Rican national team. Feldine, fall away three, no good. Vargas, boy, he's been a handful to this point.
That was just the lack of a blockout. That was more of a high school blockout by Carl Towns. If he gets a body on Vargas, that's a rebound that Towns will get every time in the future.
That was off the mark big time from Francisco Garcia. 6'7" Towns. Air ball.
I'll tell you, Dave, Tyler Ulis is a tough player. You mentioned that he twisted his ankle a couple games ago. He got absolutely blown up on a screen in the backcourt. Somebody had set a blind screen on him, and like he ran into a wall, bounced right back up. Very little phases, this kid, and he's a really good player that I think changes the game in a lot of ways with his ability to put pressure on the ball. He can put pressure on a 94 feet.
Well, Vargas with a little hip check on the screen. We'll give it right back to Kentucky. That'll be his second on Vargas.
That's a call you won't see very often in international play. Now here's the play a few games ago against Puerto Rico where Carlos Lopez just absolutely took out Tyler Ulis. He wiped his face off, got up, and made a play right after that. Now right out of the horn set. They've not run this set all that much in this game, but they've run it throughout this tour. And they've gotten some really good things out of it.
Willis, he shuffled his feet. That's what you're talking about, that Dominican club coming out and guarding you. That shot had been there. the prior 3 games.
It's Orlando Antigua, the head coach of this Dominican team, a former assistant to John Calipari, was an outstanding player at the University of Pittsburgh. Played professionally with the Harlem Globetrotters, now the head coach at South Florida. Derek Willis doing a nice job on Francisco Garcia, trying to stay in front.
There's Garcia, though, patiently gets the layup. Back the other way, and another throw down. This from Karl Towns.
And Karl Towns running the floor, but how about that pass by Ulis? He has just got unusual court vision.
Sosa stutter steps, can't get the layup to go. Outlet to nowhere. Garcia tracks it down in the backcourt.
It's a good idea, not well executed, but you like the willingness of the big guys to look immediately to outlet the ball and get it down the floor.
Feldine hammered as he goes to the basket. He'll have some free throws coming up. Well, Karl Towns at 6'11", the freshman out of Piscataway, New Jersey. Showing you a pretty lofty skill set.
The ability to run the floor, that's what they call an easy basket. But you have to do some hard things to get those easy baskets, and Kentucky has shown a penchant for doing those hard things here in the Bahamas.
It is the SEC Network from the Bahamas. What a great place to start a network. Every network should start in the Bahamas. It's the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. Kentucky taking on the Dominican Republic. They lead by 3 here in the first half. Don't forget that this Big Blue Bahamas Tour continues right here on the SEC Network tomorrow and on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Sean Rames out of the French A division will play the Wildcats for the 2nd time, and then they'll wrap up this event on Sunday against the Dominican Republic one more time. Another opportunity for us to see these talented freshmen from Kentucky.
4-man group headed to Kentucky. Devin Booker headed to Kentucky.
John Calipari thinks that Tyler Ulis could lead the country in assists.
Carl Anthony Towns.
University of Kentucky. I think that I may be the most versatile player in the country. Kentucky.
It's kind of a different version of Julius Randle. There are all guys that can score the Kentucky recruiting class.
And many of those freshmen on display here today. The one exception is Trey Lyles, the 6'10", 235-pounder out of Indianapolis. Indiana Mr. Basketball. They're not quite ready to throw him back on the court just yet. He is coming off an injury. There is Trey. Saw him working out before the game today, and boy, he's another. It's hard to believe these guys are playing high school basketball a year ago.
Yeah, super skilled, terrific body, can pass it, can shoot it, handle it. Saw him working out before the game today and each day that Kentucky has been here in the Bahamas. He's just not ready yet. He's got what they call a hot spot on his lower left leg in his shin. And I think they want to give that a little bit more time before they put him through full court drill work and practices.
Of course, no Willie Cauley-Stein either, coming off a foot injury, but he was working out today, and boy, he looks good. Here's Feldine back the other way. That shot is followed up by Garcia. And we got ourselves a ball game here, tied at 18. 11 minutes to go, opening half. Booker quickly the other way. Boy, that's a tough shot falling away from the basket.
Well, even taking the ball out of the net, Kentucky is getting the ball down the floor really quickly. And that's where this platoon system, I think, can really wear other teams out through the course of 40 minutes. Not so much what the Dominican Republic is doing right now. It's what they're going to do in the second half after taking all these body blows.
Sanchez knocks down that jump shot, the 6'8". Former St. John performer gets the basket to make it a 20-20 game.
And that shot taken by Devin Booker is a good shot in transition. If he can get an open 3 in transition, I think you want him to take it. Wow, what a rebound.
There's Poitras.
That was a great rebound by Dakari Johnson.
And Aaron Harrison pins it against the rim and the backboard. It'll belong to the Dominican Republic. Actually, they'll say jump ball, and it'll belong. They're going to say tie up, so Kentucky will have the opportunity to inbound the basketball.
Boy, Dakari Johnson, when he missed that jump hook going after it, he really had to rebound out of his area. That was a terrific play that he made.
Poitras spins, lost the handle. Well, that's a tough shot out of the corner from Aaron Harrison, who just pinned it between the iron and the backboard.
He really likes that side of the floor. That's where that side of the floor was where he hit all those shots against, was it Louisville, Michigan, Wisconsin, all on the left side of the floor.
And a pushing foul against the Cats. Let's see who picks that up.
Looked like it was Booker. You know, that's where you've angled your man out. You don't want to foul him there. This nice little spin move, and even though Alex Poitras lost it, he was able to regain control. And Aaron Harrison and Devin Booker are going to have a nice little competition for who's the best perimeter shooter on this team. I think the nod right now goes to Harrison, but Booker can really shoot it. I don't think Kentucky has put its opponent in the 1-and-1 this early in any of the games on this tour. The Dominican Republic is the best team they've played, and they've done a really good job of putting the ball on the floor and attacking, not only in transition but in their half-court offense, and putting some real pressure on this Kentucky defense, forcing it to rotate, forcing you to try to stay in front.
Beldine with the free throw. It is a 1-point Kentucky lead. High off the backboard. There's the follow. That goes down for Dakari Johnson, the sophomore out of Brooklyn.
Every time there's a Kentucky drive, that forces a rotation. You go after that block shot, that's going to open up the offensive glass. And this is an excellent offensive rebounding team. That's going to be the source of a lot of scoring for Dakari Johnson.
Boy, how about the no look coming from the savvy veteran Jack Martinez. Jack, for the Dominican Republic, has been playing for this national team since 2001. Poitras with a little jump hook.
This is the way that Alex Poitras needs to play to be an all-SEC player. And I think he's fully capable of that. He's leading this team in scoring right now, about 14 a game. Leading him in rebounding. He's only played 20 minutes a game here. And he has been dynamic and really all over the place. Couldn't be more impressed with the way Poitras has conducted himself.
Andrew Harrison gets a little bump, falls away. 5-point Kentucky lead. You know, doing so many Kentucky games last year, it seemed like every time we talked to Coach Cal, he would say, you know, Poitras is our X factor. If we can get something out of him, it'll take us to that next level. And some nights you saw it, some nights you didn't. And I think that was the inconsistency that was frustrating at times. But it looks as though we've seen a pretty solid effort through 3 games and change so far from Alex.
Oh, a spectacular effort. And I think, you know, the inconsistency came from youth. Now, some guys are quicker than others to pick things up. And that's the Devin Booker factor we were talking about. The quick 3 in transition. That's a great shot for him. And as well as the Dominican Republic has played and as hard as they've played, Kentucky's still got an 8-point lead.
Largest of the game.
When the ball goes inside out, you see nobody can come off of Aaron Harrison on that side of the floor, and that allows one-on-one in the post. And even though there was late pressure on that shot, just that little penetration by Kentucky opened that up for Devin Booker. And both he and Aaron Harrison, if they get something in transition, a quick 3, you take it, because you can run 30 seconds of really good offense and not get a better shot than that.
Look at Kentucky's top scorers. Poitras leading the way at almost 14, and Carl Towns at 13, and Dakari Johnson at the bottom averaging 8 a game. You know, there's talk, you know, it's maybe a little exaggerated as we sit here in the middle of August, but talk of Kentucky's first team being ranked #1, and maybe their second team could be ranked in the top 10 somewhere as well. That's how deep this club is.
Well, I've said that you could split the team in half and you'd have 2 top 25 teams, not #1.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that tonight on the SEC Network at 7 o'clock as host Dari Noka and network analysts discuss all the SEC news of the day on SEC Now. It's also available on Watch ESPN at 7 o'clock tonight on the SEC Network. Don't forget that the announcement of the SEC regular season basketball schedule will be debuted this evening. We'll break that down as well tonight on SEC Now. Busy day for Dari last night as the network came to fruition after a couple of years of planning and operation. Congrats to everybody at ESPN and the SEC for making this happen.
Really an exciting time, not only for the SEC, but for ESPN as well with this new network.
Loose ball. Here's Santana. Kept it alive.
Well, Kentucky can really bring the pressure when they want to, and this platoon system really helps them do that.
Santana with a scoop shot. And our under 8 timeout will be taken as they mop some sweat off the floor. No sweat out there. It is all blue water and blue skies here in Nassau. Big Blue Bahamas tour continues. You look at Atlantis, been home to most of the teams here playing in the Bahamas this summer. Kentucky up by 6 over the Dominican Republic, 7:09 to go in the first half. Part of the reason has been the big fella down low, Dakari Johnson, at 4 out of 5 from the field.
Well, he's had some space to operate in the low post. He's also done a great job on the offensive glass, getting second shots, and this is something new for Dakari Johnson, his ability to run the floor. He has slimmed down, he's much more mobile, and he is changing ends. And Dave, a little bit earlier we showed the leading scorers for this Kentucky team on this Bahamas trip, and 4 of the top 5 scorers are 6'8" or better. And what that has shown me is a willingness of the perimeter players to throw the ball inside and play inside out. And the big guys, when they don't have it, have thrown it back out. This has been a really unselfish crew, and I think has seen the benefit of playing that way.
Lyles alley-oop. Throw down Marcus Lee.
How about that? I mean, you try to pressure Tyler Lyles. He does not give in to that pressure, gets past it, and makes a brilliant play.
Vargas, reverse layup, back on the floor with 2 fouls. Willis back the other way. And a collision at the top of the key. And Hawkins trying to shake off the effects.
The Dominican really trying to get after Tyler Lyles, and he just gets around him, draws the defense, and lobs that up to Marcus Lee. I'll tell you, Kentucky does a great job of throwing over the top of defenses.
Layup easy for Coronado.
Well, that's one thing Kentucky in this game needs to clean up. They've given up a lot of easy scores to the Dominican Republic. A lot of layups, a lot of transition buckets off of their mistakes.
Followed by Lee.
That was an excellent move by Karl Towns, and those are plays that he's going to finish and get fouled in the future. What we talked about earlier, when you make those moves and someone's going to come block your shot, that's going to open up the offensive glass. I mean, somebody comes from the weak side to try to block that, Eloy Vargas, and that means you're going to have a rotation to get a box out on Marcus Lee, and you're just not going to be able to get there. It's just too difficult. And as many easy baskets as Kentucky has given up in this one, they're still ahead by 6.
So Vargas, the former Kentucky Wildcat, at the free throw line. Karl Towns picks up the foul, his second. Of course, he'll play for this Dominican national team when they leave the Bahamas. A lot of connections here. Coach Calipari, of course, coached the Dominican Republic team in 2011, 2012. Tried to get them to the Olympics. Fell 1 spot short. They finished 4th in the pre-Olympic tournament. Needed to finish in the top 3. And his former assistant now, Orlando Antigua, coaching the Dominican club. There was Coach Cal alongside Tony Barbee, the former Auburn coach. There was Orlando. Interesting story about him. I mean, he was born in the Dominican Republic, but grew up in the Bronx. And when he was a kid, he was a victim of a drive-by shooting. Got hit with a bullet right above his eye. Doctors couldn't take it out because of where it was. Wasn't any kind of peril situation for him. 2 weeks later, he's playing basketball. Actually, a few years later, started to get a headache, around his ear, and the bullet had fallen near his earlobe, and the doctors at that point went in and removed the bullet. Is that not bizarre?
It's amazing.
They'll say no basket, goaltending.
See, that's not goaltending in international play. It just is in the college. And these are college rules that we're playing with in the Bahamas and in these Kentucky games at least. But in international play, that would have been a bucket. There's an example, Dave, of the ball going inside. I think Towns should have shot it, but it's not a selfish group. He didn't feel like he had it, so he kicked it out.
Boy, Vargas tripped up, no whistle, thought he was hammered, probably was. Willis off to Hawkins. Pull-up jumper is good from Dominique.
Smart play. Had the initial shot, gave a little shot fake and got a better one and did not rush it. Look how Ulis can get underneath Coronado. He's having to push off to keep him off him. Nice backdoor cut.
Ramon, little floater. Boy, he made that look easy, and we know that is not easy.
Well, Ronald Ramon was a 4-year starter at the University of Pittsburgh, averaged double figures all 4 seasons for Jamie Dixon. He just knows how to play. Tough kid. Not a kid anymore.
And a foul underneath against Kentucky. That'll take us to a timeout. Carl Towns, one of those talented freshmen, getting an earful right now from Kenny Payne, who is running the show. It's the Bahamas. It's the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. More in a moment. (38-32), Kentucky out in front. A very competitive first half of basketball at the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. Talking hoops now, but it will only be hours before the focus. Well, it already is the focus. What am I talking about? College football season will kick off on the SEC Network with an exclusive Thursday night doubleheader on August 28th. Texas A&M will travel to Columbia to take on South Carolina at 6 o'clock. Then Vanderbilt will host Temple at 9:15, only on the SEC Network. It's also available live on the Watch ESPN app. It is football season, and there is the stadium right next door to the Isaacs Gymnasium here. That is the Robinson National Stadium. Nice little sporting complex they have here right in the middle of the island here in Nassau.
That is nice. But unless it has snorkeling or some sort of inner tube, I haven't paid much attention to it, honestly.
You know, it's funny, we were talking about the play of guys like Dakari Johnson, Carl Towns. Dakari's one of these guys. You see him there in the foreground, 44, big boy. It's 7 feet, 255 pounds. You know what his biggest fear is? Sharks. I'm thinking this is, he hadn't spent a whole lot of time on the beach. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, the Sharks should be afraid of him, especially the way he's playing.
Harrison, little alley-oop, another one. Boy, Kentucky has done that time and time again this week.
Well, it all started with a run-out ball screen by Dakari Johnson, changed the angle of it as he got to Andrew Harrison, and that is going to require, once Harrison beats his man, that means it's going to be a rotation near scramble, and any time they get near the basket, they are going to throw that ball up to the rim. Nice step back by Edgar Sosa.
Can't convert. There's Vargas. He can't convert. Tapped around, and it'll belong to Kentucky.
This is the first time, Dave, that I've seen some of the Kentucky players leaking out. In the first 3 games that they've played in the Bahamas, most everybody on the defensive end has stayed to help rebound. And this game, I think maybe they did it a few other times, and I didn't notice it because they got the rebound so easily. But the rebounds have been contested in this one. And a white shirt cannot leave before they've gotten it. Everybody's got a rebound.
Well, Kentucky has won their first 3 games by 28 points on average. Garcia's fouled. He'll have some free throws coming up. No team has scored more than 58 points in the 3 prior games. And I would say today that there's a good chance the Dominican club has a chance to surpass that, and Kentucky may have to play a full 40 minutes here today.
Well, part of it is Kentucky has been a little bit loose with the ball. Andrew Harrison gave that ball up easily because he had picked up his dribble. He was a stationary player, and the Dominican Republic did a great job of denying, but he just gave the ball up. You'd rather, hey, at the worst you should get there is a 5-second call, and then you get to play 5-on-5 defensively. You give that ball up, and then you give an advantage situation to your opponent to get an easy basket or a foul.
There's Dakari Johnson. Off to Aaron Harrison. Aaron. Fouled by Vargas.
Well, that was a great job by Aaron Harrison. He didn't go too fast off that ball screen, and when Vargas switched off on him, he really took him on. And that's what the best guards do, is they take on the secondary defender. So after you got a switch, he goes right into him and is able to pick up that foul. So instead of going away from the contact, he goes into it and essentially creates that foul. That was a really good job by Aaron Harrison.
3rd foul on Vargas. And it looks like he'll stay in the game. 2:20 to go before halftime. Garcia talking to every official that will listen to him.
You know, that's one of the issues that you're going to face when you're playing Kentucky. You got a big guy like Eloy Vargas that you expect to play minutes. And if he's going to play every possession hard, you're putting yourself at risk of fouls. And all of a sudden they can foul you out, wear you out. It's not just the first half you got to worry about, it's the second, because the cumulative effect of the platoon system can really get to you. That's a walk.
Aolis Baez, who played basketball at Florida International. 6'7", 240-pounder, travels with a basketball. He's playing professionally in Spain.
Well, David, feels like relative to the first 3 games Kentucky has played here in the Bahamas that they're struggling in this one. They've certainly gotten some. They're up 9. That I think is an indication of just how good this team is.
We can make it 12. And let's see, the basket counts from Poitras. A foul on the Dominican club, I believe so.
Push in the back. I'm not sure whether it was Vargas, but somebody pushed Dakari Johnson. And a terrific shot. This is the kind of shot that Alex Poitras should take and can make. He's not a great perimeter shooter, but he can keep you honest. And that was taken in rhythm and the kind of shot you want him to take.
12-point game now. Opportunity to build upon that. With 1:31 to go before halftime. Poitras inside, left hand won't go. Johnson just too much for Francisco Garcia underneath. There's no chance for Garcia the way Dakari Johnson's attacking the backboard.
Well, Dakari Johnson just muscled Eloy Vargas out of the way. Vargas went for that shot block, and you're right, Garcia couldn't handle him. And just having him there, you know, if you go try to block a shot, the offensive glass is wide open. And you're going to have to rotate down and have a guard pick him up. And even though Garcia is strong, that's a huge advantage for Kentucky. The offensive glass is going to be the source of a ton of points for this Wildcat team.
Jack Martinez back on the floor for the Dominican club as Vargas takes a seat. Here's Garcia.
I wonder where Martinez's haircut would stack up in international basketball. One of the best.
I would gotta say, gotta be top 5. Layup won't go. Martinez taps it to himself. Sosa. Reverse layup, no good, and a hold.
Got Booker. Dakari Johnson coming from the back end to block that shot. So you might have a couple of 6'5" guards in front of you. That means you've got a 7-footer, sometimes multiple 7-footers that'll be looming you know, Dave, you have to keep reminding yourself, Kentucky, you say, hey, they're 10 deep. They're 10 deep. Look at it. Well, they're actually more than that. If we think this is 10 deep, the platoon system now, Willie Cauley-Stein and Trey Lyles are not playing. And you know that those two are going to be in the rotation.
There is Miles. And there is Willie Cauley-Stein. Averaged almost 7 points and 6 rebounds a game a year ago. You look at the numbers, 59% of their scoring from last season is back. Don't forget, coming up on our halftime report, take a look at the best of the SEC Network launch. Very busy night back in the Charlotte headquarters. And who can challenge Kentucky in the Southeastern Conference? Jay has a few teams that might be able to give them a little bit of a run, but that could be a big-time challenge. We'll also have a look at some first-half highlights and statistics. You know, I do think that the SEC certainly took a dip the last 5 years in terms of top-to-bottom overall talent level. Teams making the NCAA tournament, certainly the barometer by which people judge. But I think the league, I think we're starting to see, you know, a concerted effort by the conference itself. But I think the institutions also understand the value of making a commitment to the basketball league as a whole.
I think so. And I think there have been some coaching changes in the league that have contributed to some of the dips that we've seen, but also some coaching changes that are going to help in the long run. But one of the things that I think every team in the league, well, not every team, there's some teams at the top that don't need to do this, but a good many teams in the SEC have to do is upgrade their non-conference schedules. That's a necessary element of improving the status of your league. You have got to play a better non-conference schedule.
Under 40 seconds to go. An 11-point Kentucky lead. Harrison no good. Beldine tapped it. And the Dominican.
That's not a good foul by Aaron Harrison. You want to go after the ball, but the Dominican Republic had the ball. And you don't want to give up free throws in this situation. You've done a pretty good job throughout the course of the first half. You didn't get that shot to go down. But with an 11-point lead, you don't want to give up something easy right here and give the Dominican an opportunity to get a late run and cut into that lead going into halftime.
Third foul on Aaron Harrison, by the way. Lead now 10. There is John Calipari. He's been watching from the stands. Coached the opening game, but has turned it over to his staff since then. As Ramon gets both free throws to go down.
So Kentucky can now take the last shot of this first half. And it's not just the last shot. It's a tip in as well. Usually they've had a run out ball screen in this type of situation where Dakari Johnson would run out, and that puts Alex Poitras along the baseline.
Alley-oop. Brother to brother works perfectly. Andrew to Aaron.
Jack Martinez would not allow Dakari Johnson to get out there, so Andrew Harrison just took off.
Martinez, that won't go. Thought he was fouled. No whistle, and that'll do it for the first half of basketball. Kentucky puts up 47. They give up 36.
Last play looked like Alexander Belov in the '72 Olympics.
It did. Great call. Kentucky heads to the locker room up 11. That's our halftime score. The Harrison to Harrison. And Kentucky's lead is 11. Time now for us to send it to our studio with our halftime report. Right after these messages, the Big Blue Bahamas tour will continue. Glad you could join us on the SEC Network as we continue from the Bahamas. A good look at Atlantis, where Kentucky and the Dominican Republic playing to a 47-36 halftime score. Moments away from second half basketball. Dave Neal alongside my partner Jay Billis. And once again, Kentucky's up by 11, led by as many as 12, but a little bit more competition from this Dominican club. And I think Kentucky responded to that after the first few minutes. They understood they were in a real game.
No, I think they responded very well. They've been running the floor. They've done a great job on the glass. I think the guards have played very well against the pressure also attacking when it's appropriate, and they've gotten the ball inside. Alex Poythress had a really good first half. He had 13 points, and Dakari Johnson was all over the boards. He had 5 offensive rebounds, 8 rebounds total in just 20 minutes of play.
Take a look at some of those first half highlights, and this Kentucky team has won their games by an average of 28 so far, but Dominican Republic are making it close.
Edgar Sosa from Louisville. This Kentucky team leaving the ball at certain stages and not always playing the best possible defense. Francisco Garcia getting to the rim, but Dakari Johnson had a terrific first half. He was aggressive, showing both hands around the rim, and his rebounding was just off the charts. Really did a terrific job.
Take a look at our first half statistics, and this Kentucky team shooting the ball at a 57% clip, 39% for the Dominican Republic. Free throws 10 out of 18 for the Dominican club. And the points in the paint, as you talked about, the big boys for the Big Blue have really put on a show. That's the problem with the Dominican club. They don't have a whole lot of size. It's a guard-oriented team, and they just have not matched up well down in the paint.
And Kentucky has had, what, 11 practices going into this trip, and they haven't spent a whole lot of time on defense, but they're going to have to play better defense against this team without fouling, because it's not like the Dominican Republic has been scoring at will in their half-court offense. It's been mostly in transition and on the free throw line.
Willis, alley-oop, one-handed throw down from Marcus Lee. Big man to big man.
And Willis has thrown a few of those alley-oops in the first 3 games, and John Calipari's noted he throws it better with his left hand than his right. But Karl Towns, that's the first time he's been double-teamed in the post to post. A nice job by Dominique Hawkins there to front the post and make it difficult.
Lee again. Off the pass from Ulis.
All these weapons. It's almost like you throw it up at the rim and somebody's going to go get it.
Kentucky starts the second half with what we'll consider to be their B team, if you will, as they have rotated 5s each time there's been a substitution. And a technical foul. John Hampton, one of our officials, picks it up.
Marcus Lee starting out the second half with 2 highlight reel dunks. And also Towns and Lee going after that shot block attempt for Edgar Sosa, making him score over the top. He couldn't do it, then picked up the technical.
Ulis gets 1 out of 2, and just like that, it's a 52-36 tally.
Just the constant pressure that Kentucky brings. It's hard for their opponents to sustain effort throughout the course of 40 minutes to combat this depth and this talent, not to mention the size. I guess I did just mention it, didn't I?
Can't say that again, right? Not to mention. Towns with a jump hook over Vargas goes.
And immediately the full court pressure on. This group has been the pressing group of the 2. And Kentucky has stayed with this platoon system throughout the 4 games here in the Bahamas. Must be fun for John Calipari to watch. He's not coaching because he just wants to get an evaluation more so than be the only voice his players hear throughout this trip.
Willis. Some contact, shot blocked by Vargas. Up ahead to Garcia. Just re-signed with the Houston Rockets. Spins out of trouble. Left-handed layup won't go.
And Ulis almost caused a travel there. He may have caused a travel and just didn't get called.
Hawkins floater is good. Take away by Willis. And a throw right into the hands of Lee.
Boy, Kentucky came out. They had an 11-point lead, and they've thrown a couple haymakers at the Dominican Republic. And you know, this is an exhibition game, and you wonder, a pro team that's got some things coming up that it considers to be more important. That is playing in the FIBA World Cup and going up against the United States senior national team in several days. You wonder, you know, how much effort they've got going forward.
Tripping foul against Willis as he and Garcia got tangled up.
Karl Towns doing a nice job of getting deep low post position. After Lyles cleared on that screen, he immediately posted up. And that's what big guys want to do. You work on your post moves, but ultimately what you want to do is post deep enough and close enough to the basket where you don't have to make a post move. You just make a power move.
Well, he loves to study film, and he's trying to work on a hook shot, but he loves looking at video of guys like Magic, Sam Perkins, George Gervin, Shawn Kemp, trying to get a little something from each one of those guys. Pretty good group to study. I haven't seen any Jay Billis in there. We got to talk to him about that.
Well, he wants to be good.
Tap by Vargas goes down. Vargas, the former Kentucky Wildcat. He's matched up underneath against Karl Towns. The two of those guys will be teammates for the Dominican Republic after this Bahamas tour is over. Three-pointer goes down, and the lead now is 21.
Well, that's what Tyler Lyles can do. He's got tremendous quickness. He's good with the ball. You get up on him, he'll go by you. And if you play off of him or go underneath the screen, he is a good enough shooter where he can knock down a perimeter jumper.
Baez after Garcia. That won't drop. Tapped around and taken by Willis.
Good idea, just not there.
Feldine back the other way to Vargas. Alley-oop the other way works quite well for the Dominican club.
You know, oftentimes Kentucky's going to want to throw that thing up near the rim. And that one was that Tyler Lyles just turned over was waist high.
Willis. Towns. Feldine back the other way. He will throw it down as well. A couple of runouts by the Dominican Republic and a timeout taken by Kentucky. But I would say overall a good first 4.5 minutes out of the break.
Well, it was good to start with, especially with the effort, but the one way you can let him back in is being loose with the ball. And Kentucky has been loose with the ball the last 3 or 4 possessions and has played like they got $100 in their pocket.
Coach Cal having a hard time staying in his seat watching that last turnover. A couple of more games down here for Kentucky and their Big Blue Bahamas tour. We'll have the action for you tomorrow 1 o'clock Eastern right here on the new SEC network. Shalon Rames against Kentucky, a team the Wildcats beat earlier on this trip. And then at 1 o'clock they'll wrap up the event taking on this same Dominican Republic club. Once again 1 o'clock Eastern time. Both those games on the SEC network. You see the scores, an average margin of victory by 28. No team has scored more than 58. Kentucky has just been impressive, and we talked about it. Even 2 guys even on the floor for this team, and Trey Lyles and Willie Cauley-Stein, a couple of more big bodies for this Kentucky team. They have to be. I haven't looked at everybody's roster, but they have to be the biggest team in college basketball coming into the 2014-15 season. I can't imagine another team with more size.
There is nobody with more size than this Kentucky team. There are a number of NBA teams that don't have that size, and looks like they're having a good time off the floor as well. This is a very tight-knit group of players.
You know, I saw, you know, you spoke to the team earlier this week, and, you know, it sounded to me like your message was you're going to have a lot of people nitpicking you. A lot of people criticize. They're going to think you're the greatest thing ever, but eventually those people will try to find holes, and you got to be mentally tough. Was that your message to them?
Yeah, and I think it's John Calipari's message more than mine. But absolutely, and you know how it is, Dave. That's what we do. I mean, we're going to get tired of talking about how good they are, how deep they are, what a close knit group, and then we're going to start talking about how do you beat them, and what's their weakness, and what's wrong with so and so. And there's nothing wrong with Alex Poythress. That's the second perimeter jumper he's hit, and he's played great basketball here in the Bahamas. If this is the Alex Poythress we're going to see during the regular season, I mean, this is an all-SEC player this year. That's how well he's played.
16 points for Poythress, the team's leading scorer on this trip. Vargas can't hold on to it. Was pushed out of bounds, he says, but it'll belong to to Kentucky. Number 22. Started a ton of games as a freshman. Came off the bench last year. Had an up and down season. But he looks like he is fully focused on the upcoming season as a junior. Back in Nassau, here in the Bahamas, another gorgeous day. Kentucky's lead over the Dominican Republic is 20, 14:49 to go here in the second half. Don't forget, weekdays, ESPN Radio's Paul Feinbaum shares his knowledge and opinions on SEC football and so much more. It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on the all-new SEC Network. It's also available live on Watch ESPN. Don't forget, later on tonight on SEC Now, on the SEC Network, you will get a first glimpse of the SEC league schedule in basketball. Game times and networks to be announced, all the matchups. You can digest that as you think about the football season. Harrison, fall away jumper. Well, that's just hard to guard there.
Well, how pretty is that? You know, the high ball screen, and Harrison replaces up. And then immediately, when he doesn't have the shot, he can attack off the dribble. But when he was cut off, still able to create a good shot. He's really improved his game. Good help by Aaron Harrison on that cut by Ramon.
Dean lost the handle.
Nice.
Booker, catch, shoot, won't go.
Even though that didn't go, that's not a good shot. That's a great shot for Devin Booker. Passing ahead to get an open three in transition for either he or Aaron Harrison is a great shot. See, and this group can switch 1 through 4. Harrison and Poitras just switched right there on that exchange.
Well, here's Aaron Harrison, who averaged almost 14 points a game a year ago.
Now this is off the catch after that high screen and roll. And he replaced up from the corner. And oftentimes, you take away a straight line drive from a player, that can be pretty much it for most guys. But that's not it this year for Aaron Harrison. He can still make a play.
Martinez.
What a cut.
Dean high off the window with a little spin.
Martinez, some may remember him from in California. He played in high school at Artesia High School. He played with Jason Capono, who played at UCLA, played in the NBA for a number of years, a great shooter. And Martinez, who makes this terrific pass, no look. I wonder what everybody thought he was looking at when he just immediately looks off. I love that hairdo, by the way. I'm endeavoring to get that for myself.
That's solid. I mean, there's really, it's hard to describe something like that. Little floater in and out. There's Johnson. The putback is good.
And he's just dominated the offensive glass. Absolutely dominated it. And it's not like he's playing against high school big guys. Good cut.
Guerrero had a shot block, but Feldine comes back and he is hammered. Harrison.
And that's the kind of thing, Dave, that you worry about in this kind of game. You know, sloppy turnover. And I say this all the time, and you hate to keep bringing it up, but when a guy comes off of 1 foot, when there's pressure near you, it really opens him up for a problem because you can get knocked off balance so easily. And I don't think there's anything dirty about what Andrew Harrison did there. But if he would have gone in off of 2, he can absorb that contact. I mean, that would probably be a flagrant foul in the NBA. But I think Feldine opened himself up for that, where if he went off of 2 feet and squared himself, he could have absorbed that contact, not gotten hurt, and still had a chance to complete a 3-point play.
Feldine talking to Orlando Antigua before the game today. Felt like in their first 2 games, Feldine had probably played the best out of this group. He is still laying down on that surface. Small that back.
I hope he's going to be okay, because he went down hard and he was holding that right side around his hip.
Feldine now plays professionally in the Italian League. He was born in New York, but his mother is Dominican. actually started his pro career in Spain, then went to Italy. Had 14 points in their opening game against the team from France on Wednesday night. And you could see Harrison there a little disturbed and upsetting. You know, it's one of these things as a ball player, especially with what has transpired this summer, watching Paul George get hurt, DeMarcus Cousins gets hurt a couple days ago, and these exhibition games. I know Kentucky even canceled their alumni game that they've raised a lot of money for charity. Some guys couldn't make it. I think part of the thing was too also some guys a little concerned about getting injured.
Yeah, that you know, you don't want to overdo that kind of thing. What happened with Paul George in Las Vegas with the U.S. senior national team was an absolute freak injury. I mean, one of the players in this game, Edgar Sosa, had a compound fracture in a basketball game playing for the Dominican Republic. It's really rare that those type of injuries take place, and it's, you know, you can avoid that type of injury that we just saw, and it looked like they did call a flagrant foul on Andrew Harrison. But these type of injuries, I think, are avoidable. And I think not that Feldein did anything wrong, but I think he could have done it better by going off at 2 feet and squaring up so that he could maintain his balance. You had to expect that you were going to get a hit there, is my point.
So Fortuna comes in, knocks down the free throws. Orlando Antigua trying to juggle his lineup right now. Certainly hope that there's nothing serious to Feldein. They'll need him as they get closer to the FIBA championships in Spain.
One thing that a little 2-3 zone, and this is the unit that has played zone since we have been here in the Bahamas. Very big along the baseline, not as big out front. Ulis and Hawkins, neither one of them are over 6'3".
Suero knocks down the three-pointer.
Suero was a big-time scorer at Albany, and really a high-level recruit.
Towns. And a foul against Towns, going for the rebound. That'll take us to a timeout. Our under 12 media timeout, 66-48. Kentucky out in front. The Big Blue and the Big Blue Bahamas tour continues on the SEC Network on the other side. In the Nassau, Bahamas, gorgeous day, a lot of fun, and Kentucky playing 6 games down here, part of their once every 4 years international trip during the summer with your club, and they decided to head down here. A lot of teams go to Spain, Italy, all over the place, but there are quite a few teams coming here to Nassau during the month of August playing some basketball. North Carolina actually showed up. They're going to play tonight later on, but right now at 7 o'clock on the SEC Network, be sure to join host Dari Noka and network analysts as they discuss all the SEC news of the day on SEC Now, also available on Watch ESPN, and will debut the 2015 SEC conference schedule tonight and break it down for you. Look at some of those important games.
Pittsburgh played here, Ohio State. Morehead State was just here. You mentioned North Carolina's playing here. Cincinnati.
Ole Miss was here, played a couple of games.
Yeah, a lot of teams taking advantage of getting the extra practices in. Nobody's played the kind of competition that Kentucky's playing. Nobody's playing 6 games. You know, Kentucky brought these teams in, and so this is the most extensive of the trips that I've seen. Nice move.
Boy, that is solid by Towns. The 6'11" freshman, the Gatorade National Player of the Year, averaged 21 points, 13 rebounds, 6 blocks as a senior.
And Dave, that is a true up and under move. A lot of people will point to a double clutch that somebody has near the basket and say up and under. When somebody goes, double clutches goes to the other side of the rim. That is a true textbook up and under move by Karl Towns. How about that passing? Big time.
Hawkins can't convert.
It all started with Towns when he saw the double team. If Marcus Lee had taken a step toward the basket, he would have had a dunk off that. You know, Dave, when we were talking about Feldine going to the basket, not going off at 2 feet, that's something that Kentucky needs to keep in mind in this game too. It's out of hand. It's 18 points. That doesn't mean that the Dominican can't come back, but you don't want to put yourself in a position of getting injured in this thing.
Let's go back to that last move you were talking about from Karl Towns.
He shows some poise in the post, takes his time up and right underneath. That's a big time move by the freshman.
Ulis off the back of the iron and rebound to Martinez. Fortuna, no good. Martinez grabs the rebound. He's like Ben Wallace underneath. We'll have some free throws coming up.
The Dominican Republic does a nice job of cutting. You know, whenever they dribble at you, or if they get the ball in the post, if you turn your head, they immediately cut to the basket. They've gotten a lot of nice things off that.
Orlando Antigua, coach of the South Florida Bulls, just got that job at the end of the basketball season after spending some time with Coach Cal. One other note about Orlando that probably a lot of people don't know. He was the first Hispanic and non-black to play for the Harlem Globetrotters in 52 years when he signed to play with the Globetrotters back in 1995. Nicknamed him the Hurricane. Got a job as an assistant with Coach Cal at Memphis, then came over with Cal and company, and he accepted the job at Kentucky. By the way, congrats to Coach Cal as he stands there, the recipient of a new 7-year, $52.5 million contract.
Did you think with $52 million he could get a better seat?
Yeah.
In the nosebleed section.
Guerrero, count it. 3-point opportunity coming up for the Dominican Republic. They're closing in on being the first team to score 60 points against the Cats.
I think John Calipari asking for some substitutions because this unit got a little bit tired and has not gotten back on defense as well as it should. That's one area. It's August, but that's one area where I think Kentucky can improve, and that's its transition defense.
Kentucky will take that timeout, and a new fresh 5 coming back in. This Kentucky team will certainly be involved in the ESPN Super Tuesday telecast, as I would anticipate the Cats being a preseason #1 team, and you'll see them on Super Tuesday against Missouri, at LSU, at Tennessee, at Georgia. So 3 games on the road out of those 4.
LSU has some size along the front line. They just don't have as many big guys. I don't know who has as many big guys as Kentucky, but Jarrell Martin and Jordan Mickey. Jordan Mickey reminded me a ton of Taj Gibson when I worked with him this summer at that Nike Skills Academy. Both he and Martin did a terrific job. And Georgia, Mark Fox has a very good team coming back, but the size is going to be a major issue in dealing with Kentucky. Marcus Thornton can guard just about every position, but he can't do it all at the same time.
Charles Mann, Kenny Gaines in the backcourt. I thought Kenny Gaines really exploded onto the scene last year for Georgia. Man, a big point guard. Physical body, can match some of the size Kentucky can throw out there on the perimeter. You know, that's one of the things I don't think a lot of people understand is, you know, you look at the Harrison twins, those are some big physical bodies out on the perimeter.
Well, they're 6'5", 6'6". I mean, this team's got 9 guys that are 6'5" or better in their top 10 rotation. That doesn't include Derek Willis.
Off the window, layup goes for Manuel Fortuna, the 6-foot guard. Andrew Harrison slicing through the lane.
That's one thing Kentucky's got to continue to do, is get to the basket. That opening came without a single pass, but you know, I think Kentucky's got There are two places that I think they can be dominant from on the floor. One is the offensive glass, and the second is the free throw line. I think this team can really get to the free throw line.
Well, they led the conference in free throws last year. But this is when you look at the size, when you look at it graphically, it kind of puts it in perspective to how big this team is. 6 guys are 6'8" or taller, and 9 are 6'5" and taller.
And that doesn't include Willis. I mean, that's talking about having Lyles and Willie Cauley-Stein in the lineup. It's really, when you think about the fact, when you go top 10 players with everybody healthy, you wouldn't put Derek Willis in that crew. And Derek Willis would start on a bunch of teams around the country.
Martinez, it'll fall away, won't go. Santana. Coronado.
Well, nice job by Aaron Harrison to stay down on that fake. Pretty good defensive effort by Kentucky.
They forced the turnover. .818 to go in this one.
I think when you look at this team, you think about the size that they've got, their ability to score. But what is going to make this team a champion and be the difference in really good team and championship team is their ability to defend. If this team comes out with a collective mindset to stop people, it's going to be difficult for people to beat them.
Suero with the layup. Nice fast break by the Dominican Republic. That's what they did yesterday in knocking off Puerto Rico by 30.
And it's been easy basket after easy basket for the Dominican. They've cut this lead now to 12.
There goes Poitras again. He is just tearing it up. Another layup. That one goes down for Suero again.
It's like the Dominican just trying to spread the floor and drive it and put Kentucky into as many one-on-one defensive situations as they can get.
Timeout on the floor. You look at Atlantis. Might head over there in a few moments. 72-60. I'll at least wait till the game's over. Then I'll go.
It's Catlantis this week.
It's the brand spanking new SEC network, and we have decided to set up shop in celebration down in the Bahamas in Nassau for the Big Blue Bahamas Tour. Kentucky leading the Dominican Republic by 12. Alex Poitras has been dynamite again.
Well, he's played to his strengths. He is excellent in transition. He's done a really good job on the defensive end. And you throw the ball up near the rim, and he's been going to get it. But he's also knocked down a couple perimeter jumpers. That's the one in the second half. And for a young man who's going to be a junior now, I mean, he has really showed a ton of maturity, and he's had the development, Dave, the natural progression of a really good player. And most people want it right away. A little 1-3-1 zone put on right now by the Dominican, and that's something I'm sure that this Kentucky team's not had any time to work on. So a little bit of a different look. Kentucky's going to have to play really well defensively. There's 7 minutes to go. It's only a 12-point game. And that switch in defense may be a real benefit for this Dominican team.
Harrison in the lane. Little floater. Boy, going left, shooting right. Nothing but nets.
Well, he's done a really good job in this foreign tour. Andrew Harrison has averaged about 5 assists per game. That's led this team. He had 15 assists coming into this game and has had at least 5 in this one. But he's not had a ton of turnovers. He only had 5 turnovers the first 3 games to those 15 assists. Even with my poor math skills, that's a 3-to-1 ratio.
Passed around, kept alive by the Dominican Republic. 14-point game, plenty of time. This is really the second unit for the Dominican Republic that's gotten them back in it. They were down by over 20 early here in the second half. Suero has a few baskets here in this little run. Last touched by the Dominicans, and it'll belong to Kentucky.
Well, Dominican Republic's done a good job in the second half of fighting back. They've been cutting and driving, trying to get to the basket more. But the difference in, I think, the 22-point lead that Kentucky had and this 14-point lead has been the runouts that the Wildcats have allowed. You know, they've allowed way too many easy baskets. That's a foul.
Santana with the layup. Another layup. That's where the Dominican Republic has done most of their damage, and it's back to 12.
And Harrison was getting held there as he tried to come off that handoff. He should have just tried to cut back door. Anytime you're getting held, you got to run through that cut and show the official that you're being held. Sticking with this 1-3-1. You can't just throw it around the perimeter. You got to get into a gap and then throw it up. Now 2-3. Looks like a 2-3 now.
Booker. Floater won't go. Rebound to the Dominican Republic. Yanked out of there by Sanchez.
Get it down to below 10 now.
Sanchez. That is a 3 off the back of the rim. Poitras. Alex lost the handle. Almost went in. And he will step to the free throw line. Well, that was a big miss by the Dominican Republic. Had a chance to take it down to 9.
Could have put some real game pressure on Kentucky. And I'm not sure John Calipari wouldn't have liked to have seen that, just to see how his guys would react. Because they have played the second half of each one of these games up big. So they haven't been challenged at all. And you can win a ton of games and be the best team. But there are going to be games during the regular season where you get challenged. And you're going to have to execute. It's good to have that experience. And if you can get it now, even better. You don't want to manufacture. If you don't have a crisis, John can manufacture one in practice. But it's nice when you can have one just to see how you react. And it's a great teaching point.
Poitras will take a seat. Replaced by Marcus Lee.
Now this next unit platoons in, and this is the unit that's been putting on full court pressure and doing a really good job of it. And I'm not sure Tyler Ulis has played 1 minute in a Kentucky uniform where he hasn't been guarding for 94 feet. Boy, nice job by Towns. Really nice job. He just made the offensive player shoot over him without fouling.
And then a reach-in foul. That'll go against Santana.
One thing Towns is going to learn in this game is how to deal with a double team, because he's getting doubled every time the ball goes in. Now the double's coming on the pass, not after he catches it.
Look at Santana down there, number 8 for Dominican Republic. He's been playing professionally since he was 17 years old. He's now 34 years old.
2-3 zone for the Dominican.
Ulis. That was a deep 3 by Tyler.
Play off him, he shoots it and makes it. Play on him, he blows by you. Dribble the ball against him, you got to turn your back, because he's going to get up underneath you and put pressure all over you.
I love the fact he said he wears number 3 because of Allen Iverson. Traveling violation will give it back to the Wildcats. That young fellow is going to have an impact on this Kentucky team when the regular season starts. Back to a 15-point lead for the Big Blue. Back to the Bahamas on the SEC Network in a moment. Having a little bit of fun down here in the Bahamas. Hard not to have some fun here in Nassau. Carl Towns is having a lot of fun. The rookie showing you an outstanding skill set.
A great skill level. Size, he can run. He's active. And he's got a mature approach to things. He doesn't rush. He's seen some double teams. He's taken his time in the post. That up and under move was just fantastic. And he has shown a willingness to guard on the defensive end.
Well, you look at the recruiting class for Kentucky, another outstanding group brought in, second-ranked class. here in 2014. Carl Towns, one of those guys. We've mentioned he'll play for the Dominican Republic after this event is over on their national team. Travel with this group to New York.
I always like it when people say, and then right on cue, Carl Towns hits another one. But I always enjoy it when folks say that, you know, John Calipari, or they can use a number of coaches. They say he doesn't recruit, he selects. Well, if that's true, I mean, there are a whole bunch of guys trying to select these players. You know, now how is it that Cal selects them? You know, you have to recruit. The universe of teams you're recruiting against is a little bit smaller when you're Kentucky or North Carolina or Duke, but you're recruiting, and you're busting your tail to recruit.
Shot won't go. Here comes the Dominican Republic, down 14. Coronado.
Kentucky had to switch out when Tyler Ulis got hit with that random ball screen up top, and Marcus Lee had to switch out on a guard. Still able to stay in front. And Tyler Ulis is such a nice option to go to on the bench. I mean, Andrew Harrison is the starter and should be. I think he's done a terrific job. But Ulis has come in and added a totally different dimension to this team with his ability to defend full court. He can change the pace of the game. But to have both of them working together at the point guard position is an awfully nice luxury.
.42 to go. Kentucky looking like they're going to win their 4th consecutive game down here, but the Dominican Republic is the first team to crack 60 against the Cats. Willis. Hawkins off the mark.
Got to go for a 3 here. Not enough time to go for 2s.
Suero gets the layup.
If they're going to stick back in that zone, you're basically waving the white flag that you don't want to win, because there's less than a minute to go.
They want a much more competitive game, though, for Kentucky in their first 3.
And it's what they need. I mean, you want a competitive game. You know, all the teams have played hard, but the Dominican really fought back in this game when they got down 20. And the other teams, Puerto Rico and Champagne Chalon Reims, when they got down 20, they just kind of let the game go.
There's Towns with another basket. Towns with a dozen.
But for Kentucky, being this is August, for them to come here against professional basketball teams and control every game, and they controlled each of these games, is really impressive. This is an impressive college basketball team that I think should start the year #1, and I think we'll be right there for a Final Four appearance and a potential national championship. They may not win it, but they'll be right there for it.
Boy, Poythress and Towns had outstanding days for John Calipari. His club wins it by 12. Of course, he coached this Dominican club back in 2011, 2012. Knows many of these players, especially their head coach, Orlando Antigua, who sat on the bench with Coach Cal for a number of years as an assistant. They will meet again on Sunday to wrap up this Big Blue Bahamas tour. There is Orlando talking to his Wildcats from a year ago. But a 12-point victory for Kentucky. They go to 4-0 here on the Big Blue Bahamas tours. We will come back, have more, and talk with one of the Wildcats. Stay with us right here on the SEC Network.